Hey guys, in this video I'm going to explain some of the differences between the let and var keywords when declaring variables. Variable scope is where a variable is accessible. Any variable declared with the let keyword is limited to a block scope. It doesn't exist outside any sets of curly braces. Any variable declared with the var keyword is limited to a function. Here's an example. Let's create a for loop. We'll count up to 3. We will declare a counter of I, set this equal to 1. We'll continue as long as I is less than or equal to 3, then increment I by 1. So within my for loop, I will display whatever value I is, console.log I. Our results are 1, 2, 3. What if I attempt to access this variable I outside of this for loop? Console.log I. What would happen exactly? We have an uncaught reference error. I is not defined. That's because any variable declared with the let keyword is limited to a block scope. It doesn't exist outside of the set of curly braces. That's why my interpreter doesn't know what the heck this is. If we instead used the var keyword to declare a variable, well then this variable I can exist outside of curly braces, and that could be a problem. So now if I attempt to display whatever I is, it's now 4. So if I would like to reuse this counter I, but we declared it with var, since it already has a value, it's going to potentially mess with my program and cause problems. However, any variable declared with the var keyword doesn't exist outside of any functions if it's within one. Let's create a function. Function do something. I don't really care what it does. So let's copy this for loop, place it within the function, and invoke this function. Do something. Now when I display I, after it's been declared with the var keyword, we have that uncaught reference error. I is not defined. A variable declared with the var keyword can escape a set of curly braces, but it can't escape a function if it's contained within one. And that's where we need to discuss global variables. A global variable is declared outside of any functions. So we have our function. If I was to declare let name equal some name, since this variable is outside of any functions, it's considered a global variable. My entire program has access to it and recognizes what it is. If you use the var keyword when declaring a global variable, that can be problematic because if a variable declared with var is global, it can and will change the browser's window properties. Here's an example. For a demonstration, within my console, I'm going to access my browser's window object. I will type window, select it, hit enter. We haven't discussed objects yet, we will in a future video, but windows have properties. And my browser window has one property of name. And currently it's just an empty string. Let's say that I'm a beginner programmer and I would like to declare a name variable to hold a username. So if I was to use the var keyword and I create a variable name and set this equal to whatever my name is, behind the scenes I will unintentionally change this window property of name. So I'm going to save and run this. Let's access our window again. And let's find name. There. So I have unintentionally changed this Windows property of name, and I didn't even realize it. And that could happen to any of these properties, and that could of course possibly mess with your program and cause problems. Now this time I'm going to use the let keyword. And you may need to open this again with live server. This time I'm using the let keyword. I will type window again, select it, hit enter, and let's find that name property again. There. By using the let keyword, I was able to declare this variable name without changing this Windows property of name. So yeah, those are some of the differences between the var and the let keywords. A variable declared with let is limited to a block scope. A variable declared with var is limited to a function scope. If you declare a global variable with var, it can potentially mess with your browser's window properties. Let will avoid that problem, so it's considered good practice to use let over var, but you should still know that var exists. So yeah, everybody, those are a few of the differences between var and let. Hey, if you found this video helpful, please be sure to smash that like button, leave a random comment down below, and subscribe if you'd like to become a fellow bro.